Hi all, I'm Dan Smigrod, founder of the We Get Around Network Forum. Today is Thursday, December 10th, 2020, and you're watching WGAN TV Live at 5. We have an awesome show for you today. 4 hard cases for a Matterport Pro 2 3D camera and how to customize foam for a hard case. Our guest today is My Case Builder president, founder, owner, Steve Holland. Steve, great to see you.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Thanks for being on the show. Before we jump in, Steve, about how to about the 4 cases that we have to do show and tell on, and then also to get a demo of how to actually customize foam. I just want to let our viewers know that we got 3 things coming up later in the show. One is how to win one of the cases that we will discuss on today's show. 2, how to receive free 12 months of WGAN TV Training U membership. And then 3rd is how to get free shipping on My Case Builder cases. Steve, first, again, before we jump into the actual examples of cases, tell me about My Case Builder.
Oh, sure. Yes. Well, thanks for having me, Dan. I appreciate it. So basically, about 35, 40 years ago, my father started in the foam business. I grew up in the foam business, never slept on a spring mattress in my life. I had to sleep on foam. I had to play with foam as toys, things like that. And basically, about 30 years ago, he started a foam fabrication company. And then I took over. We went from 3 employees. Now we have over 35 employees cutting foam, selling cases, whole solutions. We're doing that all in our factory in New Jersey. We have 56,000 square feet total. Again, 35 employees. We also branched out and we have factories in Europe, in Japan, and we just opened up New Zealand as well, all doing the same thing, which is basically creating custom foam for anything that you want to put a case into. So that is our mission. That's our goal, is to make it as easy as possible via pre-made cases like the Matterport cases you're showing today, and also via fully custom, one at a time.
Awesome. And could you, while I get set up for a little bit of show and tell, could you talk a little bit about the cases that you carry?
Oh, sure. So, you know, we do all of the major brands of cases. So starting with Pelican, SKB, Seahorse, Nanook, HPRC, Doro, which is our brand, which you're holding right over there. We also do lightweight cases, medium weight cases as well. So soft bags, pretty much any type of case that you're looking for.
Okay, awesome. So this is the first case that we were going to show for, and maybe just for context, this is one of 4 cases in the We Get Around Network collection. I was lucky enough to be able to work with your engineer and designer on designing the cases specifically for Matterport Pro 2 3D camera. So the first case I have here, let's see, let me turn that around.
Yep, that is our Doro carry-on size. So that case is the exact maximum size that you could take onto an airplane. It has a lift-out handle and roller wheels, so you can roll it around. It's got that nice rubberized grip handle that you're seeing. That's different than all the major brands. This case, it's got the roller wheels as well. This case is made in Italy, so it's a really nice, solid, well-designed Italian-made case, but it's probably about 30–40% less expensive than, let's say, a comparable Pelican case. It has nice up and over latches that are really easy to open and close. Again, that rubberized grip handle. And right underneath there, you'll see that it has the pressure relief valve. So that is because it's waterproof and watertight and airtight. So if it goes onto an airplane, it's just gonna, the compression and the change of altitude will suck that thing in and you won't be able to open it up. So that's an automatic pressure release valve, and it will release that pressure. So yeah, and then that's the extendable handle. So this way you could drag it around the airport if you need to. You just easy to open. Yep, little push, locks into place, and then it comes down and you can just roll it around. Very easy to use. The nice thing about that case too is that it has padlock holes. So when you're traveling in the airport, you could put 2 padlocks in. You can see them there on the left and on the right. Yep. And so that way you can lock it with padlocks. And also you'll see that it has feet on the bottom, and that allows it to be stacked. So those 4 feet on the bottom allows you to stack if you have multiple cases, so they're not all just kind of falling all over the place in the back of your car or when you get to a job site.
Cool. It's, and so I could, I guess once we all return back to normal for flying, this would fit perfectly in overhead bin. It meets the airline's regulations.
That is correct. Exactly.
Okay.
There we go. Very nice.
I don't recommend doing a show and tell quite like I'm doing it here, but I'll just hold it up. There we have a Matterport Pro camera, 3D camera in there, and a compartment for the charger cable, and I have for the camera head, excuse me, the tripod head in there as well. So
Yeah, and then
you can see there that I have an iPad. And I think what I wanted to point out here is the way you, your engineers designed this is you could easily put your hand in, grab the Matterport camera and bring it straight out. And it's nice and snug going back in. And I think one of the things that I was really emphatic on with the engineers and the design team was to have the lenses of the camera face down into the case for maximum security. My biggest concern was if the camera lenses are faced up, that you're tempted either to put loose stuff in that gap to end up scratching the lenses or something worse. And then I have my iPad in a slot, and that fits nice and secure in here. And then again, there's plenty of extra room that if you have other maybe charging cables for a smartphone or a little power brick, you can put that all in here. So this one, let's see, today, Thursday, December 10th, 2020, this is $189.99. So this is, what would you call that in the scale of pricing? In terms
Oh,
of
it's an incredible price. If you're looking at, let's say, a Pelican case that size, the 1510, you're talking about, even just with pick and pluck foam, the soft foam that you know, it's probably about $250, $280 without custom foam at all. So on the scale of what we do, that is an outstanding price. Yeah,
for a good, solid, reliable case.
exactly.
I wanted to go onto your website. And in fact, just because these are the We Get Around Network collection cases, but just to show how I got there. And this is going to be important later in the show of how I actually got to the page. So I'm going to go wgan.info/mycasebuilder to get to the home page of My Case Builder. And that'll be a secret between all of our viewers and our We Get Around Network forum members. That will have some magic qualities for you later in the show. So we're going to go over to pre-made designs, go to cameras. And I happen to have already done a sort from Z to A, so the We Get Around Network collection was up here, but you could also get there by going to the search feature, type in Matterport, and you would end up on these cases. So Steve, did you want to take over driving, or is this enough for you to describe the next two cases?
Oh, sure. So yeah, the one we looked at was the one on the right. That's the $189.99, the master case. And that's the Doro brand. The one all the way on the left, so is the pretty much the same exact inside case. It's the same size case, but made by SKB, which is a manufacturer here in the United States. They make great cases. It's got basically similar features. All these cases are going to be waterproof, crush-proof, lifetime guarantee. This one has a name brand attached to it as far as SKB. They make excellent cases. A little different latch, and that one's $219.57, but basically the same insides. And then in the middle we've got the Pelican case. So that is a Pelican Storm case, the IM 2600. That's a really nice case. That's one of our biggest sellers because of the Pelican name. This one doesn't have wheels though, and it's too large to carry on if you did want to do that. But it does have the same kind of slots that you showed. That is a Pelican Storm case, which is, again, Pelican is basically the leading brand in these types of heavy duty cases. And
So-
then,
So,
sorry, go ahead.
so far, those three cases are all very similar, all similar in size. And to help guide, if you were interested in price, there is the lower price one. If you're interested in the Pelican brand, there's that option. And if you want something that's in the mid-range, it still has wheels, it still fits above the luggage cart, then there's a price point there with that Pro 31-2011-8 for $219.57. So
Correct.
three different price points, slightly different, either brands or size, but the inside is relatively configured the same, except to adjust for the difference in size of the cases.
Exactly.
Okay, cool. And then I was going to do show and tell again on one more case. And this will just take me a second. Again, I don't recommend doing a demo quite like this, but I'm
They are.
gonna put it up on the chair.
Sure.
So this is the Maestro case. And do you want to talk about the outside first? Let's see if I can hold that up so you
Sure. So this is an SKB brand. So that's one of the ones I was talking about. Yeah, it's very similar. It's got really nice handles. They've got that wheels on the back, where for a nice heavy case like this, especially filled up, you're going to want to have nice skate wheels like that. Same kind of features where it can stack. You'll see that it's got a different latch system than the up and over latch. Yeah, it's got a big carry case. So that's a push button latch. You can see you could do it with basically one finger and open it up. So it's got a nice latch system. And it also has the extendable handle and wheels on this case. So very similar. It's just a much larger size. It has a push button to release. Very similar, but release the handle. This one obviously is not going to go onto an airplane in the carry-on, but it can be checked.
Yeah. I also, one of the things I liked on this case also is it actually has handles in three places. So if I was to slide this into my back seat of my car and I pushed it in, I can still pull it out. And if I wasn't thinking about where the handle was, it's okay. It's on the other side too.
Right. Yes, absolutely.
And this is actually the case that I use on my chutes, even though it is somewhat heavy and it's obviously large, but I like to bring a lot of stuff with me on my chutes. And so Steve, you all were kind enough to really indulge me in designing this case, which accommodated all my stuff. And we'll talk about why that's important in a moment.
I think it's yep. Got to turn it around one more time. Yeah, you put a lot of things in there. I commend you on taking all that stuff with you and getting it into this one case.
Yes, I must say all this stuff gives me joy, and if I don't say that, then my wife is going to make me throw it out. But all the stuff in here gives me joy. You want to talk a little bit about this?
Yeah, so the lid is a convoluted foam. Usually it's glued in. For you, we left it out. But basically, that gives you compression when you close this particular case so that everything's held nice and tight inside. This is a tray case also, lift out tray, as you can see, so that you could utilize the whole depth of that case. That case is probably about 14, 15 inches deep. So this way you could do multiple lift out trays.
So there's, in terms of show and tell, there's actually 3 trays in this case. So just if you're curious what I carry, I have a digital tape measure, a bubble for the camera. Again, here's my iPad. I use the Native Union. I just love that you can put your hand in here. So when you pick up the tripod, you got it. And if you want to set it on a table while you're stepping away, you can do that as well. So I always find that I need tape, so I have that. This is the camera head or the tripod head that I use with my Matterport Pro camera. Again, I find that I need tape. You know, you might have curtains blowing in the wind. Something, I guess, topical for today in terms of masks. And then there's this large tray where I can put numerous things. So I happen to have some power bricks, charger cable, microfiber. I got a lot of stuff. And then I have some monster clips. Again, I find these helpful on curtains, a little lens cleaner pen, the pen. I think we're doing okay. On my second tray, so again, I have a power brick here that works on a laptop computer and also to charge an iPad, business cards, a little notebook, charger, and then I carry various door stops. I could actually do an entire show just on this one door stop. It is so amazing. And then I have other size door stops. If I'm not using that other tripod head, I have a quick release plate. And then I have some other compartments for stuff. And then I don't know if I can show this. We'll try. Here's that compartment for my Matterport camera, which again faces down. And then you'll see I have more door stops. I have little blue booties for my feet, rain ponchos, duct tape, tape measure, and again, some more door stops. And I don't think you can see it, but I actually have a slot for a pen, and I have a little slot for a notebook as well. Now, I spent a lot of time showing you this, and you said, well, you know, Dan, I would never carry all that stuff, but I do have a lot of stuff I carry, and it's different than what you carry. So I think that actually kind of segues into Steve. You know, what if the cases we've just shown don't meet the needs of a Matterport Pro photographer, then what?
Sure, sure. And that's the thing. That is one of the reasons why my case builder has grown as it has, is because, you know, there's a lot of people who just want to buy that case that's going to fit exactly what you know, but then there's another person who says, well, when I go, I also take my DSLR and I need to have this and my lenses, or I need to carry my drone. I'd love to carry it in one, just come over, bring it in and be set. So yeah, that's what my case builder does. And if you want, I could share my screen and just go do a quick demo and show you what that is. Okay, so let me just share the screen right over here. I appreciate it. Okay, so here we are. Actually, I'll start with the home page. So from the home page, what we do is we allow people to, again, go to the pre-made design section and check the pre-made designs that we have, or use the software and the website to find your own case and do searches, see what the difference is between Pelican cases, Storm cases, so on and so forth. On our cases by brand page, we have this comparison where I go through each brand, show you the latches, show you everything so you can decide which brand works for you. But once you do find your case and your style, when you go in, I just have it already pre-made. This is for the Storm case that we had showed earlier. This is the Storm 2620. It shows you the dimensions. And here's the Matterport shape. Here's that extra cutout for your accessories. And here's the space for the iPad. So let's just say that you want to carry a Matterport and you want to carry maybe 2 or 3 lenses, or maybe let's do actually drones and lenses. So basically I'm going to take this piece. I'm just going to delete it out of here. Very easy to use. I'm going to take this one as well and delete it. So maybe your iPad you'll carry in a backpack or something like that. So what you could do is go right to our shape library. So in the shape library, I'm in camera lenses. So let's say we do a 24 to 105. Let's say we have one of these lenses. Okay, I'm going to put that in with finger notches. This allows me to get the piece out of the case, right? Because otherwise it's going to be tight inside of our foam, which I'll go through our foam options later. Let's say I want to put it in this way. You could also put it in in a different orientation as well. I'll put that there, and let's say we go back to, let's get rid of that and go to, instead of camera lenses, let's go to cameras, and let's say we go to, sure, we'll just put this Nikon one in here. Again, we'll do that with finger notches and put that in. So now we have, I don't know why you would have these two in here, but you have that, a Nikon and a Canon lens. In fact, we're going to take this one and I'm just going to rotate it like this so we can use all of our available space, right? And it's going to rotate this one over here. So you can see that already I'm gaining lots of space. That yellow is kind of a warning area saying if you can avoid it, please do. You're getting close to the side of your case. And then we can go back to the library and we can go back and do, let's say, a Mavic 2. And here's the Mavic 2. We'll take that in here. We'll do it with a finger notch. That's the Mavic Mini. Let me go to the Pro 2, which is right over here. So here's the 2 zoom, or the air, whichever you want. So you could do these again in some different orientations, side, top, those kinds of things. I'll just put it in regular here. We'll just add this one in like that. And we'll put that here. And so within basically a couple of minutes here, I've made a custom case for, actually we probably need to put some batteries in, and so let's just put some batteries in over here, Mavic battery. So we'll put that over here. Okay, so now we've put the battery. Actually, let me take another one. I don't want to bore you guys. Just want to make something that you would be somewhat useful for you, right? So we have that, and then it'll show you in 3D exactly what that looks like. So basically at this point, you're going to get a nice representation of that case, even where the wheels are inside of this particular case, and everything laid out the way you want it. So that is really how you use my case builder. Here's the tray builder that you can go in and do those multiple trays that we showed in your Maestro sample. You can also take a picture and get a cutout from a picture if it's not in our library, and some other features as well, which we could do at another time if we wanted to go through all the features in the system. But I wanted to now stop sharing my screen just to show you the foam that's available real fast. So everybody who uses cases might be used to this kind of foam. This is ester foam, polyurethane foam. It's very, very, very soft, right? That's the kind that you get in pick and pluck where you pull out the cubes. It's very soft, so you have to have a lot of foam in between every cutout. It all breaks apart. It's not very good. We use something called Top Guard foam, which is a polyethylene foam, which is a nice closed cell foam. And you can see that our foam has this Top Guard on it, which is 1/4 inch heavier density foam. So it's really, really nice so that you can get a really long lasting, okay, in and out hundreds of times. You can use this foam. It will probably outlast all of your objects. It also comes in colors, which is pretty cool. So it comes in yellow, blue, comes in red. So you can have a really nice, here's like a sample in yellow, looks really cool. So we have all those foam available. We also have Pro Cell foam. This foam over here is a fine cell foam. It's an upgrade. It's a really soft feel foam. So it's still rigid, just like the Top Guard, but it has that feel that maybe for cameras, you might want to go with this type of foam. So that's basically the foam portion of what we do at My Case Builder.
Awesome. Of the 3 foams, which one's the most popular?
Oh, Top Guard is the most popular. Yeah. So Top Guard, about 90% of our customers take Top Guard. It works in almost every single use that you need. Again, some people do want that upgraded foam, and the people who use the soft foam are usually people who are very used to their old cases with the pick and pluck and just want to stick with that. But we do recommend that the Top Guard is our biggest seller.
And the Top Guard is what you used for all the Matterport cases.
Yes.
And I think there's just one exception, which is this for the very top of the case.
Right. So some of the Matterport cases that we did has the Top Guard on the lid as well. So that is on the lid as it comes down. The one we gave you there, the Maestro, has that convoluted X-ray foam. Correct.
Okay, cool. And just to go back for a moment, maybe if you could share screen again, go back to the custom creating foam. You showed one tray. Could you just take us through, if you really did want a second or third tray?
Absolutely, absolutely. So this case has a base of 8 inches. This is a Pelican case, has a base of 8 inches. And you can see my maximum thickness here was 4.438. So if you go to the tray builder, you can come into the side here and hit edit trays. It's going to show you a side view of all your shapes inside of the case. That's that 4-inch Matterport right there. So you have all this space underneath.
So you really have two choices here. You could either get a different case,
Right.
case is thinner, or use the available space within the case that you're buying.
Exactly. Yes. If you wanted to change the case at that point, correct. You can come in here and find one that will fit. That's a thinner case. Correct. But if you did want to use all the space available in here, right, that's when you would split that into a second or even a third tray like you had. So if I hit the split button, it comes in here, leaves a 1/2 inch on the bottom. So you have some cushioning underneath. And so I have a bottom case and a top tray. I could also take this one. I have enough space here to split it again. So now I have a top tray, I have a middle tray, and then the bottom. So then once you get there, you can start designing. Now let me actually make this 2. I'm going to merge this back. So yeah, basically, you could even do, let's say you decide that you want your top tray to be your bottom tray. You can, hit down and now all of a sudden that's the bottom, that's the top. So there's fun stuff you can do as well. But now you go to the bottom tray and you can, design for the bottom tray. So let's just put that one on the bottom tray. You can put all your drone stuff or cameras on the bottom tray and your Matterport on the top tray. And you'll see that it separates that out. Now, when I go back in to the edit trays, you'll see I've got that one over here. I've got the top one over here. Very easy. It won't let you make a mistake. You can't put something too deep in one tray or another, that kind of thing. So it's all done in the tray builder right here on the side.
Okay, cool. If you could take us off the sharing.
Mhm.
So if I needed some help, I want to design my own case, but I got stuck for whatever, and it looks relatively simple. And most of our audience, real estate photographers that do 3D, 360, that do Matterport, we're all pretty geeky. So I think your tool, your app for doing custom foam for hard cases is pretty straightforward. But that said, I get stuck, then what?
Sure. So that's number one. We want you to be very happy with your case when it gets to you. So we have a couple different programs to make that happen. Let's just say you do end up doing it yourself and creating the cutouts and maybe drawing your own shapes. We have basically a fail-safe program. So for very little, starts at $7.99, goes up to about $15, $20 depending on the size. You can get
$8, so it's not $799.
Oh, sorry. $7.99, right? $8 is for the smaller cases, right? And then it's $9.99 for a little bit larger. But basically, if anything goes wrong for any reason, or you decide, oh, you know what, I forgot I got a new lens, within 30 days, and I want to put that in there, you could basically send us back the foam. We'll cut you a brand new piece of foam for that same amount of money. So
okay, so when you go to check, so let's say you got the design, you're happy with it. You go to check out, you want to order the fail-safe design protection for that $8 or $10 or $20.
Right.
That gives you the comfort knowing that after you got it, if you went, oh, my heart sank, I did leave out a lens, I left out something, or I didn't like what I did, as long as I paid for that $8 to $20, depending on the size of the foam, I can send back my foam and get a I guess I would call that a do-over.
Well, that's interesting because we actually, but the answer is yes. And we also do have a do-over. So again, our focus as a company is to make you happy with your, with your foam. So if you don't take that fail-safe and you really do want to do it over again, we do have a do-over program, which is different than fail-safe. Do-over is included with everything that you buy. Basically, every custom foam that you get, if for any reason you screwed it up and you didn't take the fail-safe, then for 50% of the cost, we'll just make you a brand new one again. So if it's a $100 piece of foam, for $50, we'll make you a new one. We just want to make sure that you get what you want and don't have to take out the kitchen knife and start chopping it up if you don't have to.
Okay, so two options to help you be satisfied. First, on all cases, do-over protection. If you do it over,
yes,
it's 50% of what you paid for the foam.
Right.
That said, if you check out and pay for the fail-safe design protection, which depending on size, might be $8, $10, $20.
Mhm.
Then if you really are totally unhappy, the good news is you can send back your foam and get a redesigned, the
For-
foam that you redesign back at no extra charge other than that fail-safe program.
Correct. Yeah, we'll ship it back to you. We'll cut it. We'll do everything, and you don't have to pay a penny extra at that point. Correct. So that's if you do it yourself, right? So we also do have, like you said, let's say you're going through and you say, you know what, I need some help. So we have a couple of programs there to help you. So the first one is really fantastic. It's called Pro Connect. On our website, you can go to our Pro Connect page and connect with one of our design specialists. So let's just say you have a question about that tray builder, or you wanted to use the photo tracer, which we didn't even show, to automatically trace around your picture. Right, so you can go to the Pro Connect page right there. Yeah, exactly, the Pro Connect app assistance. And what that'll do is it'll give you a calendar. You can choose a date and time for a free 30-minute consultation, basically, with one of our design experts. That is normally about $50 to $75. We're doing it for free now, so for during the pandemic. So you basically get the ability to ask anything that you want, go through it, share screens. It's really one-on-one personal consultation for free. So that's a great option for you. Now, let's say you go through that, or just in general, you're very busy, you're taking your Matterport and taking all this real estate photography, and you just want us to do it for you. That is called Pro Design. Usually people send us all their gear and do it. If it's a Matterport plus other gear, you could just send certain things, or tell us what you have. Is if they're in our library, we can do it for you. Pro Design is a separate charge, and that depends on complexity, right? So, if I have just something very simple, it's as low as $50 for our engineers to design it. Something very complicated, it could be $200, $250, something like that, depending on how long it takes them. You'll know in advance. Once you send us the gear or go through the project with us, we'll tell you how much that will cost.
So in my case, literally for the Maestro case, I sent you all my stuff.
Right.
My wife might call it something else, but I sent you all my joyful things, and the engineering and design team came back with a proposed design. We tweaked it a little bit, and voila, we had the case that was custom designed for me called Maestro. Again, not that I would expect our audience to buy the case. It's somewhat unique to me, but to use that as inspiration to say, hey, my case with my case builder app for custom designing foam, you can have exactly what it is that you want. So that's the, I think we've covered kind of 3 different programs. One is the pre-made designs. So if you have a Matterport Pro 2 3D camera, there are 4 cases, one of which will likely meet your needs. Certainly of the 3, there's really likely to be one that's going to meet your needs. The second is if you need some design help, you can get up to a half hour of help online, super easy to book a session to get help on the My Case Builder website. And the third is just to ask My Case Builder to design it for you. And I think in that case, it's either, do you have items that are in our library of objects, and in which case you don't need to send My Case Builder anything. Or if you actually do have a new prototype that hasn't been released to the public yet, no one has the dimensions, and you want to just send it to My Case Builder, you can send it. And then I think that there's really one other tool. Maybe you could still show us the tracing of, let's say, a camera that's not in your library.
Absolutely. Let me show you that real fast, because it can be that fast. So let me share my screen. Let me go to the photo tracer here. So basically, when you go to the photo tracer, you can take a picture, put it on a white background or a background that is contrasting color. Don't have this ready here, but let's go to drones, let's just say. Or actually, we say cameras. Well, I have a camera in the drone section. So here's my camera, right? So against a white background, this is a really nice picture. It could be off of an iPhone or anything like that. You just need not too much shadow. And then when you hit the auto trace button, it's going to start tracing around, figuring out that white space around it. And in the next step, it creates a point map, which you can then change the points if you wanted to. You can tweak them. You can do whatever you want. You do have to scale it, 2 dimensions to scale it. It doesn't know how big it is from a picture. So let's say this is, 7 inches left to right. It's probably bigger than that. Let's say 10 inches left to right, and how deep it goes. Now this I put on the bottom tray, so it's going to be not enough room to put it in. But I'm going to do that and create the shape over here, and you'll see. Yeah, I only had 3 inches on the bottom, and that creates that shape just as you see it. And you'll see that it's a beautiful cutout right there. It works extremely well, extremely well. Also, remember those finger notches so you can get the foam out, get your items out of the foam. So with our finger notch tool, you can then go ahead and put your finger notches wherever you want. So I'll put some over here and over by the viewfinder. And now I've got perfect finger notches to take it out. So that's the photo tracer, really easy to use. But also one last thing, since you asked, you can do very simple things like create multiple depths inside of your cutouts. So let's say a 5 by 5 by, let's say 2.5 deep. We'll do that with no finger notches. So what I can do is I can take another shape and go a little deeper. Actually, maybe make this one into 1 inch deep, and I'll make that one 2.5 inches deep. And you'll see that now I have a shape underneath the other shape, or anything that protrudes down underneath. So it's a really nice way you can do this. And with the photo tracer especially, you can create almost any complex shape. It's unbelievable what our customers create on my Case Builder. Very proud of them for using the tool that I built to create just unbelievable custom foam.
It is pretty amazing. It's just not that hard, and you can have exactly what you want.
Right.
Yeah, it's awesome. So I promised early in the show a chance to actually win one of the cases that we've showed on today's show. What I'd like to do, I'm going to see if I can hold it up here. Just take me a second. So see if I'm doing that okay. So this happens to be the Doro case, and that I was showing earlier. This is $189.99. We actually are giving away the master case, very similar to this, the $259.99, from mycasebuilder.com. The master, the number is IM2600. It's a $260 case. And the way to win that is to text IM2600 to 877-805-0960. This is the WGAN Text to Win sweepstakes. This is our number 2 sweepstakes. We do this every week on the We Get Around Network forum. In fact, for our special audience today on My Case Builder Facebook page, our community is the We Get Around Network forum. It's WGANforum.com. And you'll see our weekly sweepstakes, which today is sponsored by My Case Builder. The sweepstakes, again, text IM2600 to 877-805-0960. This sweepstakes will run until 11:59 a.m. this Monday. And I have to count my days. So I want to say, let's see, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So it's Monday the 14th, 2020 at 11:59. The sweepstakes will end. This is United States and Canada only. Message and data rates may apply. 10 messages per month. Reply stop to 877-805-0960 to cancel text messages from We Get Around Network forum community. Excuse me. I also mentioned at the top of the show that there was an opportunity to receive a free 12-month WGAN TV Training Academy membership. That's when you buy a case for $150 or more from mycasebuilder.com. That We Get Around Network is offering 12-month WGAN TV Training Academy membership. And there's 2 things to know. in order to do this. The first is to type in wgan.info/mycasebuilder. That takes you to the My Case Builder affiliates page for My Case Builder. Then do your purchase along with free shipping. And how do you get free shipping? Is you go to the We Get Around Network forum and you private message me, Dan Smigrod, and I'll send you the coupon code. So when you use that coupon code for free shipping and you used our affiliate link and you bought a case for $150 or more from mycasebuilder.com, you will receive 12 months free WGAN TV Training Academy membership. It has something like 100 hours of learning in how to use Matterport for scanning and how to do post-production in Matterport and other cameras and other platforms in 3D 360. So anyway, 12 free months WGAN TV Training Academy. And that third thing that I mentioned, again, was getting the free shipping. If you just simply join the We Get Around Network forum, it's totally free. You'll get 50 plus membership benefits. One of them is automatically receive the coupon code and the affiliate link in an email that just comes back. So just go to wganforum.com. You'll see a link to join the forum. Again, it's totally free. You'll get back an email auto response that has 50 free membership benefits, including the coupon code for free shipping on My Case Builder cases, plus our affiliate link. So you'll then also be eligible to get the 12-month WGAN TV Training Academy membership. That's handled with a form. Sounds a little bit complex, but for our members at our forum, you just it's just a form that you get when you join the forum. And you fill out that form, you attach your receipt for My Case Builder. So My Case Builder doesn't have anything to do with that. It's all handled by We Get Around. So if you have any questions, private message me, join the forum, ask me questions, post in the forum, whatever it is. And that's how to get 12 free months WGAN TV Training Academy when you buy a case for $150 or more from mycasebuilder.com, plus get the free shipping for mycasebuilder.com. And that's free shipping in the United States. That was a mouthful. So, Steve, we've covered a lot of ground. What is it that I haven't asked you about My Case Builder that we should cover?
I mean, we definitely covered a lot. You know, the key is that everybody has a lot of stuff. Everybody wants to store, protect, organize, transport their stuff, and keep their investment safe and sound. And that's what we do. That's what we're all about. We're very approachable, just like yourself. You can email, call us, go to that Pro Connect. We're glad to help in any way. And we're just happy that we can be a part of the Matterport community and helping people carry and transport their Matterport cases.
Terrific. Anything else to add that we haven't covered?
No, I think that's it. I think we covered it all.
I think you left out one very important thing.
Oh, okay.
Super important is that if you go to My Case Builder's website, wgan.info/mycasebuilder, get to the website. If you go then to the help section and select videos, first, there's certainly a tremendous number of helpful videos from how to design with form, a little bit greater detail than we covered today, the difference between the three phones in maybe greater detail, a review of how to use the app for My Case Builder. But there's a video on there. I would play it, but we can't afford the music rights to play it. But there's an award-winning video that was filmed within the 39,000 square feet warehouse in New Jersey of My Case Builder. So you get a very detailed look at the warehouse in a very fun way, watching this movie that I would have to say is likely going to be nominated for an Academy Award. And it's a short film, it's only a couple minutes, and the only reason I'm not playing it is we don't we can't afford the rights to the music that was used in that film. So I'm just telling you, in fact, I'll just give you a little sneak here. I'll just take you to the site. Happen to be on that video page.
There you go.
And you can see my kids shot a spy video in my case.
Facebook factory, yes.
In the factory. So
And
it's an adorable video. You must be super proud of your kids.
Oh, thanks. Yes, absolutely. And that's my father in the playing one of the lead roles. 85, still going strong. So it's wonderful. But thank you for mentioning that. They put a lot of time and effort into that video, and it does show the factory in a nice, fun way. But no grandpas were harmed in the making of that spy video. So
yeah, so it was awesome. And then I actually saw this other video, which was a song parody all about the case, all about that case.
Mhm.
And your team put together an excellent music video. Again, we can't afford the music rights to play that video, but it was like super professionally done, I presume, by your team.
That's absolutely. Yes. Yeah. So I used to actually work at a TV station back before my case days. So I had to help in making some of those videos, but we had a great team, to film it. And my kids actually filmed the spy video. They did a lot of the writing of the script and the editing. So that was fun. But yeah, that's something that we're very proud of. Thank you.
Cool. A previous life working in television. Can you give me a weather report in 30 seconds?
30 seconds. Yes.
For the Northeast New Jersey, the Patterson, New Jersey area.
Oh, sure. It's cold. It's little snowflakes the other day, and we've got an extreme weather front coming forward. You're going to need waterproof cases to protect your gear when the rain and the snow are coming in the Northeast.
That's awesome. Steve, thanks for being a guest on my show today.
I really appreciate that, Dan. Anytime you want me back, we could go into some more details, but very happy to be here with you.
Awesome. We've been visiting with Steve Holland. He is the president, founder, and owner of My Case Builder. He is located in Patterson, New Jersey, and he is the proud father of some amazing, talented kids that produced a likely nominated Academy Award-winning film within the 39,000 square foot factory of My Case Builder in New Jersey. I'm Dan Smakrod, founder of the We Get Around Network Forum, and you've been watching WGAN TV.